Labdieniņa! Šodien ir tāds brīnišķīgs brīdis mūsu atvērtās lekcijas ietvaros, kā piemērs mākslinieciskās prakses un pētījumu un mijiedarbībai tajā ļoti intriģējošajā un riskantajā laukā, ko mēs esam iepriekš jau identificējuši kā māksliniecisko pētniecību, un kurā darbojās šobrīd kolēģis, kurš tūlīt man es stādīšu priekšā ar kādu piemēru, kā ar praksi un brīžam varbūt ekstra nāk un nākotnesisku praksi mēģināt risināt kādus jautājumus, un droši vien pēc tam arī būs īstais brīdis uzdot arī kādus jautājumus, kā šī prakse sasaucās ar pētniecisko praksi, māksliniecisko pētnieku praksi. Tātad mūsu viesis ir Gian Luigi Biangini. Viņš ir itāļu mākslinieks, kurš šobrīd mācās Savā universitātes doktorantūrā Somijā. Viņa priekšlasījuma tēma ir Future is now, living is a now, and the moment in urbāno interventions. Savu priekšlasījumu viņš identificēja kā tādu ceļu pretī jaunām mākslas funkcijām, meklējot jaunas mākslas funkcijas nākotnē. Un, viņuprāt, būtiskāk par nevis tik daudz kā stratēģisku nākotnes veidošana ir mākslas un dizaina lomu taktiskā maiņa. Savu mākslu viņš raksturo pats caur savu, teiksim, tādu darbības prizmu, pats sevi identificējot kā anarkistu, tad savienojot anarhiju un māksla un savas prakses veidu identificē kā disturbānismu, tātad pārtraukt vispār vai izjaukt urbāno ikdienas vidi un darbību. Iecer, ka mākslinieckās intervences ir tās, kas izjauc to, ko mēs, teiksim, sagaidām, kā vajadzētu notikt. Un, protams, nav grūti pamanīt, īpaši, ja mēs skatāmies mākslas vēstures kontekstā, sasaukšanos 50. gadu un 60. gadu situācionistu pozīciju, kas interpretēja sabiedrību kā uzvedumu, kā teātri un mākslinieka lomu, faktiski rīkoties pretī šīm teātra vai uzveduma iepriekš noteiktajām manipulatīvajām stratēģijām. Un tātad, let me introduce Gian Luigi Biangini, our honored guest at this moment, and you're absolutely welcome. Representative of Aalto University, who is studying at the doctoral program level, described himself as an artist and his artistic practice as disturbanism. And now he will present his projects. Probably, as Mr. Glass before, it will be not very structured information, but rather live information about actual projects and actual achievements and actual ideas and how it could be realized. Looking at your practice, you named it like a design against design. So in some sense, art and design as a means of disruption of, like it was named in situationist aesthetics, like a spectacle of society, artists in some purpose of this spectacle of society. So, the chorus is your, please, you're welcome.
Okay. I don't use PowerPoint, things like this, because everything is already clear and structured, and the time it's already frozen. Instead, here we are talking about the future, and we have to think how to create the future, how to break this model where the future it's already given in the present as projection of the present. So I will start. My research, the title of my research is Capitalism as Medium, because I consider that all the media, the expressive media are collapsed into a medium and one code, and so are all decoded by the exchange value as kind of program. So I will try to get out from this program, and in fact I use the diagram. The diagram is differently from the program. It's something that it's immanent. It unfolds in the time of now without knowing where it carries, without any. It's like advancing in the unknown instead of everything already known as output of a program. And this morning I woke up and I just written something to explain how time works in this medium, capitalism, and how this affects all the space, capitalist space, so that we cannot have anymore a space of art, but we have a space that is urban space and the digital space added to the urban space as a total capitalist medium space. And my idea is that we are all mortals, or everything that exists is mortal, but only the interest is immortal. Everything is mortal, but the interest is immortal. All the technology, innovation must be used to accelerate this repayment of the debt in the future. So the future is debt, and we live in this time where to save money, to repay the debt. And this goes, so the future is debt. And is repaid with earth resources until their end. Okay? And the interest is necessary to pay the risk when you make a transaction, no? Because you exchange something with someone else, and then you suppose you are repaid in the future. So to make that something strange doesn't occur in this time and you are repaid, you have the interest as a kind of insurance of the future. So the interest is what create a consistency in this capitalist medium, and it's also what drive the future. So in this paradoxical model, more there is debt, more there is innovation, and more there is sort of slavery and discipline of the system. So this is the origin of capitalism. Now this model must also work into the space, because to reproduce this model, this kind of time, time must be inscribed in the space. Time is inscribed in the space, the urban space. We live in a space-time that is able to code and recode everything, and to put everything at work to repay the depth, the interest of the future. And to do this, it is organized like a machine of machines. A machine of machines that implement a discipline. For example, we have this discourse is afforded by Foucault, for example, in the discipline and punishment, where he speaks of docile bodies. Okay? To make this system work, it needs that the body is made docile. And what Foucault says about the discipline, it seems, let's say, that the essence of the discipline is the infinitesimal calculus. Infinitesimal calculus. In the sense that discipline works on the details of, and all all this book of Foucault is based on the relation between body, space, and times. No? For example, how in the history how has been created a space of enclosure like prisons, barracks, hospitals, and so on, or how the body is distributed in the space. For example, in the urban space, we have a center and periphery, so we have a distribution, or a certain distribution of the space that is disciplinary and tends to, and is hierarchical also, no? From the center, which is the center of power, to the periphery, which are, in a sense, the wasting material of this space of projection. No? From the center, organize the space and remove what cannot be used to the margin as waste. No? And this infinity, I've been hit by reading this chapter of docile bodies by this concept of infinite calculus and the network of power, no? Or network of discipline, where the human material circulates. that I've been hit because when he wrote this, of course, there was not internet, there was not the digital. But if I read this infinitive calculus and the network of discipline, it seems that this urban space, that now I call it digiturban space. Okay. Is a total space of discipline. Because even if this gadget, digital gadget, give you the sense of mobility and in the space that seems contradict the idea of the disciplinary society where the body is linked to a particular space. Instead, the body, the life entered into a network that is code that is a code. No? A code starts to modulate all the space. Modulation of the space by code. And not only, but the idea of eliminate through interconnection to eliminate the space. It's also an idea of eliminate the body, no? Because if I create the real time digital, okay, I annul the space. Reduce the space and the body to zero. And here there is, of course, all the critique to the digital space of Birilio, that is famous French thinker, that if you are interested in the future, I think it's very important to read. Also because it has a style that is very science fiction, that already gives this sense of the future. So now my praxis is try to destratify my life by this disciplinary apparatus, that is digiturban space, or capitalism as medium. And so to do this, I need to, as he said, I need to create a design against the design. this design, I guess, of design consists in creating a trigger. Now, the trigger of the desiring machine that the Leslie called also war machines. So the war machine must have a trigger, no? And the trigger unleashed an event, an unfolding, a series of end that breaks the architecture of the space-time, how it's organized. And so opening this line of flight, no? Line of flight, open me as subject to the subjectivity of the event. Okay? This trigger of this designer machine or war machine, okay, throw me into a zone, no, that is not stratified or territorialized by the capitalist signifier, because open a sort of the space and the time, the organization of space, time collapse, and an event that is not already programmed comes out in this kind of space-time that is no more signified by a functional architecture that is coded by the capitalist abstraction, by the exchange value. Okay? Now I will show you a video so that you will start to understand better, because I understand that you reach a level of abstraction that is too high. This video, it's about an intervention that I realized in the Kazma Museum in Helsinki, and it is not authorized, no? And this idea took place by an exhibition that was in Kursk there. It was an exhibition of the artist Alfredo Jar. Alfredo Jar is a Chilean artist that has put 5,000 copies of passport inside a glass vitrine made and all these passports were representing the passport not given to immigrants, no, by the Helsinki city. Okay, so it was a provocation against the city of Helsinki in the museum, contemporary museum of Helsinki. Okay, but the museum as kind of machine, as code already coded in the urban space, of course, reduced the political effect of the artwork. So I start to think how to make this installation to become a real design machine, a real war machine that could break the organization of space-time of the museum and its surrounding. Okay, and I now I show you the video so you have an idea
Zeig mich gerade. Ja. Aber da wie alt macht der jetzt?
Just it could need some help.
There is the installation of Alfredo jar.
Okay.
Of this, all the passport of the people that has been not allowed to enter in Finland because they have political of identity restriction respect to the rest of Europe. So we throw passport from the balcony inside the museum.
We all
Action too, because we are migrants too, and we
So
want
against immigration.
yeah,
Your policy immigration policy.
And just to make relief the installation because it's inside the museum.
Okay.
It doesn't have the political effect as it is if you throw it. Maybe political effect.
So they want to make it
We want passport. We want passport.
Ja, han har många kvar.
Yes.
Okej.
The passport with the back. Passport.
Let's have a
It's
check.
dangerous. Come with me, come.
Passport, go anywhere in the European Union. Get your passports here. Free movement for everyone. Free travel. Passport for the day. Anywhere in the world, you can use passports. You're welcome. You can go into the museum with it too. Suomi Pasi.
Amici arrivano.
We are with the museum. Okay. What? We are just artists.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Because there is a installation design made with flags, and really good.
Just wondering that going to Kiasma, you had dropped some EU passports from the 4th floor.
No, but just
Where this performance come to?
what?
Where this performance comes to? It's come to
Because
online or are you
No.
some kind of artist?
Goes to a gallery, no?
yeah, to the gallery.
Okay. Here in Finland.
No. It's international festival.
Okay. When does this happen?
Yes, we are just doing the application. We don't know if we are selected. We try. We are artists. We try. Sometimes it works, sometimes not.
Okay.
It's difficult because we don't know.
Yeah, and it just makes some wonder and maybe scares people from the Kiasma. So because you drop those passports.
No, but they were just, exaggerated the reaction. Because it was just throwing like leaflet. They were not real passport, just you see the difference, Look.
Yeah.
Or just make
Yeah.
It's like a leaflet.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it just like gesture on democracy,
Yeah.
because you put, inside the museum is the art here.
Yeah, that's fine. Of course, if you haven't
No.
noticed, I haven't been contacted Kiasma. They may wonder why this happened.
Yes, because if we ask the museum to do it, they say no, because we are not finished.
Yeah.
So we are forced to find a space, because, if you are artists, you have to occupy the space.
Are you from where?
I'm from Spain.
Spain. And you all from Spanish?
Yeah.
Art Mākslas, that's fine for me to do because those are not for real Finnish flags. If
No,
that would be real, that would be.
Yeah, this Chinese, stuff.
No, if you do those flags, that's fine. Just take them away when you are finished.
Yeah.
So don't leave them. Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, one more point, I think.
This is the universe calling Finland to change into something universal.
Go away, I'll kill you! Go away, I'll kill you! Go away, I'll kill you! Go away, I'll kill you!
Okay.
Go away!
Okay.
I'll kill you!
Fuck.
Yeah!
I'm Irish. I'm not from Finland. I'm
So,
Irish.
fuck! Go to your country!
Hey.
Don't come here!
Hey, listen. I don't want to fight. I'm man of peace.
Go away!
Listen me first.
Go away!
Listen me.
Go away!
Okay, I'll go. Okay. Okay.
You see a series of events happening, no? One after the other, and I call this video "Passport for the Invisible." For the invisible, because the invisible is the one who didn't get the passport, but it's also the event, no? Passport for the invisible, for something that is not already established or seen, like the event, no? And for the invisible, because to reveal all the invisible violence that is in everyday life, the repression, the disciplinary repression, and all these figures emerge, the surveillance, the police, and the Nazi scheme, as that maybe in the ordinary life you don't notice this kind of repression, because everything, the space-time is organized in a way that for you is completely normal, no? And if your body is tuned in that kind of intensity established by the organization, everything is okay. But if you open a line of flight like this, and your body becomes a body without organs, not organized, and unleash this kind of intensity, you see emerging all the repressive power, the code that format the space-time and put your body into a program. So this is just one of my videos, because I made it 35 in different cities in the world, and now I wanted to show you some costume that I made for New York, because I'm going to do an intervention in New York. After this election, it becomes very. Give me 5 minutes. I should. I don't know if I put it correctly because I don't have the mirror. But yeah, the idea is it's going in Wall Street, just like this, and to see what happens. Yeah, I had fun to do this intervention, because it's like creating adventure, you know. For me, it's also like a kind of immanent cinema that it's a cinema that you don't have written the screenplay before. You just have this trigger, no? And then you have to interpret the event coming and to act in a way that unfolds in a more intense way. So you are like writing the screenplay in the making of the event, no? And of course you have to be open also to all the other events that unfold around you, no? And it comes to participate at the end to a sort of assemblage, you know, of the event. It's not just, it's also going beyond your own subjectivity, but to be open to become part of something become something unfolding. And yes, if you have some question, I don't know.
Yeah, so time for us. Let me see.
I asked about what do you speak? Why do you speak about bodies? Because in fact you're meaning the minds, not bodies. The mind is.
No, because because it's this repression of space-time affect the intensity of your body, what your body can do or cannot do, you know.
Yeah, but our body is like meat or something like this.
What?
It's only flesh.
Yes, it's
Not without
no, it's important, the flesh, because it's also, the space is organized like sort of with a Cartesian perspective, the capitalist space. It's organized like an abstract space, where a cognitive mind organizes the space for functions, you know. It's not a space that you are in and you're creating, no, in the time, so that is a space relative to your body. It's a cognitive space. So creating and entering in this kind of event, it's also acquiring a depth of the space, no? Because all the space starts to unfold in the time of your body, when your body becomes, no? It's so, in a sense, and you are, and what happens is alive, because your body, it's connected to that space. You are not in a functional space, that is cognitive. It's a space of the flesh.
And why do you speak about design and design machine, not about art? Because your action in Helsinki, I think it's more like art, not design.
No. Design in the sense that the space-time has a design, okay? The space-time has a design. It's designed. It's designed. So I need to create a counter design, something that breaks this design. No? It's like a design is like a fold. No, the design is a fold. I have to unfold the fold. So I have to find a trigger, to design a trigger. Like, for example, this costume, no? It's a design. Respect to that space that I'm going to hack, no? It's sort of like to be a hacker of the code of that space-time. No? It's like applying the technique of the agents. In fact, I had this, for example, there is this book, I don't know if you know Nick Land, Fanged Nomen. Yeah, it's a very interesting book if you have time to read, and start like this, no? Sole agent of revolution, the Antichrist, is not one but many, a swarm of masked infiltrators from the future, poised to eat your TV, infect your bank account, and hack mitochondria from your DNA. And this book was written in the 90s, and I didn't read before doing my intervention. And then I find it very pertinent with what I'm doing, no? And you know, especially when say masked infiltrator from the future, no? And in fact, one could see this video also like a sort of science fiction, no? Also, because, and yes, do you understand why?
Yes, I understand. But I don't know.
But the sense that the cause of this of my acting is more the body, the sort of the rebellion of the body. Then, you know, that then of course to create this trigger I have to mediate it with mind, of course. No, it's also conceptual in a sense. But the cause of this concept and what this concept triggers as event is related to the body, to rebellion, to live the intensity of that moment, no? That usually in a life is not allowed, no? Because you have all this design, this organization that repress your expression, no? And one thing that I would like to say of my intervention is that normally urban intervention, no? There are many urban interventions, but most of urban intervention are just decorative, no? Yeah, just to make more beautiful our environment, no? And there is this also capitalist ideology now to use this kind of art to create the gentrification. No? It's like so in this sense, the artist becomes sort of entertainer for tourists. No, entertainer for tourists. And its creativity is captured in the code that the space-time. So is refolded again the creativity of the artist. It becomes just a worker. No? We live in a space-time, in a medium, capitalist medium, that is able to code and recode everything and to put everything at work to repay the debt, the interest of the future, no? Because every resource must be used for...
Artists always were workers, in fact. Artists.
Yeah, I see my techniques more like related to unworking. No? There is this concept of unworking that is, for example, in post-structuralism. It is not to make a work of art, but to unwork an apparatus to unleash the event. You know? So, because everything works, yes, my idea is not to create something beautiful, no? Because we know that in Kant, the beauty is just the ideal of society. So it's like a mirror that everybody feel like idealized in this mirror, no? Or Kant is the beauty and the sublime. Okay, the sublime instead is this force, no, that is that makes also horror, no. But you still are also in the sublime in a contemplative position toward these forces, no. My idea instead is to throw myself in the middle of these forces and serve these forces, you know. It's like throw myself in these forces. This also because when I was younger, I liked to make windsurf, you know, and to instead of see or looking to these big waves from the beach, I liked to go there and to surf these waves, no. So, and to feel the intensity of being there with the nature, with the elements, with the forces, of the sublime, not just to contemplate the sublime. And in a sense, because everything repeats with difference in life, maybe there is also this becoming child in myself, coming back to this originary intensity of my body. When I was kid on the beach and I was free and there was no disorganization of space-time. So in a sense, it's reaffirming this body polymorphos of the child, this primary intensity. And this is basically also an existential praxis, it's not only political.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any question more? Just to ask you some question concerning how you will translate your disruptive activities in something so conservative like research that will be done inside this doctoral study program?
Yeah. No, it's just strategic or tactic, my presence there. In fact, thanks to the doctor, this doctoral, I was unemployed at the time of this video, and I was searching work, but nobody answered to CV, so I decided, let's try with doctoral study, and I got this, I've been selected, and then I won this Kone grant. So I got the money to survive thanks to this. But I like also writing. I like writing. I see my praxis as trans-artistic, not just, it includes all the tools that I can use, I can unfold, I can develop, and writing is part of this transartist anarchism, because I define myself anarchist. But the base of anarchist is trans-artist. I use, because I here the medium is capitalism, But this medium includes all the media, all media. So I use all the multiplicity that is coded by this medium.
And so your research is also some kind of part of this decoding of this capitalism. Yeah, you will use your textual strategies in some way to. Will this text also be disruptive in some sense?
Sorry?
Would this text also be disruptive in some sense? Some text. Would you use text also as instrument of disruption?
Yeah.
Or this text would be more conservative,
I would say that I'm interested to give an account of my experiences in the interspaces that I create. Because I create interspace in the space that's uncoded, and I can write the experience of living, or how I created and how I lived this kind of interspaces that are sort of fractals of the space-time. And I think it's interesting, this kind of the relation between art and research, because it's also, it has many levels, also in a sense mystic, because when you unleash this element in the interspace, there's no more the rationality that of everyday, the pragmatism that works, but there is also sort of attraction and repulsion in this event that reveal a magnetism that is magic in a sense. How appears the Nazi skin at the end there, or this young politician, famous politician there looking at the event without, or how you become, your body acquires sort of magnetism in this event that attract a lot of situation, other event, other speeds, other trajectories, that as a kind of sympathy of the moment, that you can live. Instead, usually you live in a space-time of antipathy, where you have only individuals separated by functions or roles or a structure that is before the people living that structure. Instead, when this structure disappears, there is a sort of heterogeneous synthesis, heterogeneous fusion of the event that you can live, and also it's an experience of knowledge. It's a different knowledge. It's the unknown side of knowledge, because we are used of this knowledge that there is called the clear confused. Instead, you have this other knowledge that is the obscure distinct, because it's a proceeding in obscure, but it's distinct because you feel that you are in a field of differences that self-organize, that catalyze in an event, and at the end in a percept, because when it's recorded, everything is a percept of a multiplicity that you have triggered.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. Do you have any other questions or comments at this particular moment?
Well, some rhetorical question. How do you think, in what way this space and design will develop in the future?
Sorry?
How do you think this space will develop in some near future?
The space.
Yes.
I have a theory of that I call heteron. Because everybody speak about common today, Common. But I almost, without any more liquid, the common is a constitutive, and imply an organization, Also, if there are differences, are anyway mediated by a structure, by signification, and so on. Instead, the heteron is completely destituent. It's a destituent puissance. That creates interspaces. So that the urban space becomes like fractals. I imagine a multiplicity of me, of people like me, how the space can change. It becomes all full of interspaces and full of situations and moments that unfold. My idea, this is very related to the costume. The costume of... Do you know what is black bloc? Black bloc, this antagonist, people all dressed with a black mask, hoodie, and all black pants and shoes that show up in the riot. And they destroy the bank windows, they create fires in the urban space. Yeah, I see this black bloc and the urban riot like a repetition of ancient Dionysian rituals. No? That the urban space has suppressed because it must impose its own rhythm of linearization. Okay? But there are certain moments when the rhythm of the earth or of the cosmos align in a certain way, no? That they produce an excess, no, of energy, like earthquake, like volcanoes, and so on. And the same process produces this kind of eruption in the urban space that are the riots, where some symbolism, some new symbolism is produced out of a space that is completely semiotic and where you have a signifier that put at work different signs together, you know, and they make it work for the capitalist purpose. Instead, in the riot, you have this different rhythm that becomes an arrhythmia respect to the rhythm of the urban space, and erupts and breaks, and it's a sort of urban sacrifice, okay? A sort of expenditure and transgression, no? Where all the urban space is wasted, is destroyed. You have these elements, the fires, the car that burn, the police with water, shh. You have the smoke like air. It seems like a pre-Socratic, you know, unfolding, something like the fifth element, you know, that they come back to in this reality, you know? And so for me, I take inspiration by this symbolism and by this custom. I see myself like remodulating, no, this symbolism and this symbolic violence, no, infecting with this symbolism zone of the urban space that are instead clean, no, zone of power, where because we know that urban space is organized according, you know, a division of labor of the space, like sort of on the principle of hygiene, no? Like sort of sanitation, no? In fact, instead, my idea is to take the symbolism to infect with the virus this kind of separate body, and to create a new social body without organs that is molecular, no? Because it's made by multiplicity moving in the space. It's not the space. It's not a politics smaller as a common where people different. You are a student. I'm a worker. We go together and we say, now what we do, like a project. There is no project. It's just interspacing, the emerging of interspacing, like sort of mystic happening, you know. Not there is not the cognitive, the rational, a reappropriation of the body, the space, and the symbolism that this produces.
Thank you. Any questions or comments at this particular moment? So I think it's absolutely right time to say thank you for coming, and introducing to you this practice, quite interesting practice and some perspective. And thank you, everybody here.
Thank you for your attention. I think I want to drink something.